You bring a man and a woman together. One takes one side, one takes the other, and they take a topic and they decide to basically share their input. You know what you can call that? No topic left behind.
Uh-huh.
Welcome to it.
Yeah.
Remarkable Renee or Mark Elliott, this is what we do. How you feeling, Remarkable?
You know where I'm gonna come with it, Mark. I'm awesome, Mark.
That's what we love to hear. You know, it's interesting. Do you ever basically say to someone how they're doing and they go to you, I'm okay. And you feel a certain way. And I'm going to let, I'm going to hear your reaction to it because to me, when someone says, I'm okay, I think a certain thing, but I want to hear your impression. When someone says to you, I'm okay, what are your thoughts?
One of two things. First of all, when someone actually responds, because sometimes when you ask someone how you doing, they don't even respond, right? Because they don't even know how or didn't even hear you. But when they go, I'm okay, I kind of would say it would go with where we're about to go into. That person hasn't really tapped into the emotion or the ability to communicate how they're really feeling. So they may not be operating in emotional nudity.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. But I think that sometimes too, I look at it that way and I'm going to give another way too.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, okay, it's just not good enough.
Oh, that's true.
So you should fight to make okay better.
Mm.
And then again, this is really the premise for me. If you woke up this morning, you're breathing, and I can see you, they ain't no anywhere. You should just be okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You should
Mm-hmm.
be much better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line for me. But
Yeah.
you spoke of true emotional nudity, and that's where we are. And if that's not a phrase we hear often, if we ever hear at all, you throw the word nudity out there, people ears start perking up. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? But you put true emotional in front of it, they might recline a little bit remarkable and go, yeah, still, but what they're talking about. And
Yeah.
they're fitting to find out, some would say. Because when you think of the terminology, true emotional nudity, what does that speak to you?
So I was just going to say, let's give a definition to that because we, like you said, we put those words out and we go our own way with our thoughts with that. So let's go ahead and break that down. I would say, first of all, it's a powerful phrase, right? That packs so much punch in that emotional nudity, and I would say it refers to like the act of being completely emotionally open, honest, vulnerable, transparent, like without any defense, without any mask, and without any filters. Being able to
Hmm.
reveal our true feelings, right?
Hmm.
Without having the response to those true feelings affect us in a way that causes trauma.
Good, very good. Yeah. Ironically, that phrase is not really put together that often. And emotional nudity, even if you take the true out of it, if you put those two compounds together and just kind of locking together like magnets, I think it could be scary for a lot of people
Oh, definitely,
because
definitely.
we think of nudity. There's nothing there. You're bare, and we are afraid emotionally to just be bare, just to be naked,
Hmm.
just to stand there and be naked and speak and be naked. And we're sometimes we're too concerned with it being accepted. What
Hmm.
is someone's going to think? How someone's going to feel about us? What are they going to think about us once I'm gone? What are they going to say about me? Blah blah blah. And those are all distractors and hindrance from basically being emotional nudity. And sometimes, now if not all the time, we just need to really try to basically pull back the layers and
Yeah.
push everything out the way and get
And
to that emotional nudity.
I think it comes with, just like you said, it comes with that fear. It comes with that fear, and then it also comes with these things like fear. It comes with shame, right? If I'm scared, or I tell you I need help, or I'm hurting, and that brings a shame because what happens is now I'm saying things about myself that, and I want to say this, that really is is a experience and not so much as a title. And so sometimes sharing our experiences with people has others to look at them as titles. And let me tell you what I mean by that. If I'm like, I need help, right? Hear me for a second because this is a big one for me. To say people, when people say, I need help, sometimes people will title them and go, they're helpless. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there's a difference between needing help and being a helpless individual. The person who needs help needs that assistance to navigate. They are aware, they are cognitively aware that I am in a position that some assistance from someone else will help me navigate or get to my final destination, a point of purpose, or whatever. But the helpless individual who takes on that title of being a helpless individual has not come to that cognitive function, and or they have put themselves in the place that they are either not worthy or choosing not even to want to be in a position to navigate to the next level.
I'm gonna flip to the other side of this coin with this with both
Hmm.
feeling helpless or needing help. I think a lot of times people don't reach out for help. It's because they've been disappointed when times they needed
Ooh,
help before,
yes.
and they feel that it hasn't come. So they don't want to put themselves in a situation where they're feeling rejected again,
Hmm.
disappointed. And they'll say, well, I don't need whatever because it's their prior past disappointments, their prior past hurts
Hmm.
based around help will keep them seeking and asking for it in the future.
Absolutely. Which would keep them from being emotionally nude, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like that's a trauma of mine. It's like I'm continuously making myself vulnerable and putting myself in a position where I can receive those things that will cause me trauma, like rejection, right? But
Mm-hmm.
understand, I just want to flip that as well. Understanding that vulnerability is actually a strength. We look at it as a weakness because when we're being weak, when we're being vulnerable and we're sharing where we are and our lowest state of being for some things or whatever. Oh my gosh, that's so weak. No, what it says is I have identified something and I'm able to communicate it. That is a strength.
You know what it is? It really is. And it's interesting that it's not basically portrayed that way. So, how did vulnerability, being its strength, really what it is, how did it get flipped onto being such a sign of weakness?
I think because exactly what you said, it is because when we got what we received, when we received from someone else their response to our strength, and it wasn't the response either that we expected or that we needed, it began to deflate the power of that vulnerability and begin to make it a weakness,
Now,
right?
now I get
Mhm.
that. I do get that. But why, when that happens one time to us, we can go to a supermarket and they sell us a bad piece of fruit.
Mhm.
We're not going to stop going to that same supermarket. It's that one time the fruit was bad. We want to keep on going. But why, when something happened to us one time, that basically we take our vulnerability and we hide it, and we're too afraid to basically be vulnerable again?
Because, and I like that, because that fruit, and I'm gonna go here, because that nudity exposes our heart. When we expose our heart, something that is internal, that we can't see, but we know we feel, once that has been wronged, it's easier, like you said, if you went and got the bad fruit, go to another market. Or even like you said, or if you go back to that same market, you might be able to still get some better fruit because you can see it. You can touch it. It's tangible. But when we start getting wounds of the heart, we can't touch it, but we feel it.
Well, okay, I get that. But are we honestly to expect to live a life where our heart does not get bruised?
Say that one more time.
Are we expected to live a life where our heart does not get bruised? Isn't that a way of life? I mean, it's not like, you live to be 100 years old, your heart get broken, it gets bruised maybe once or twice.
Hmm.
Isn't that something that's just a part of life?
It is, but like you said, it's not realistic for some people. Some people really not. I'm laughing because some people really do think that you can go through life skipping through the roses and tulips with rainbow skittles and unicorns.
Uh,
Really, they
yeah.
think that, oh, and that to that person, and I know, to that person, it scares me a little. Well, not scared, but I don't like that person because they're gullible, and gullible is different from transparent or vulnerable. Gullible is that person who has, again, not really addressed what's realistic, or what is a kind of like a natural response or whatever, because they've created their own perception of what a response is. And now you make yourself gullible for people because now you're seeking to meet what you perceive something to be. And so you open yourself to anything until you receive that feeling or that experience.
I'm thinking this, and I could be off on I-95 with this, but let's say we get hurt
Mm-hmm.
and we spend a good portion of the rest of our lives trying to never get hurt again or
Mm,
experience that feeling again. Are we truly open and living, or are we basically closed down some?
you're just existing. You are a shell. And that person, the funny thing is, because our vulnerability, our emotional nudity comes with feelings. Within our soul, we have our mind, will, and emotion. And so when we are not playing to all of that aspect and dealing with it in a positive manner, to me, and even just like professionally speaking, you get a person who internally is building up things like that. Again, that's making heavy on the heart. That person who's looking with those rose-colored glasses are always internally bitter, angry, resentful, maybe jealous, maybe envious, because we're not really dealing with what is the reality. We're dealing with our perception of reality. And when it's not matched, we don't even realize we're bringing on those things. And then we can try to smile past it or smile through it. But ultimately, it's going to come out. It's going to be in the way you present yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take this inside of a relationship because this can be a powerful stimulus
Hmm.
inside of a relationship, but it requires vulnerability to basically build a foundation of intimacy.
Hmm.
Yeah, it really does. When you realize that you're vulnerable inside a relationship, that intimacy tends to grow, it tends to open up, and it tends to blossom. Therefore, if you're not vulnerable, to me, it kind of closes the door off some on that intimacy. Now, I'm not saying intimacy in a sense where, of lovemaking and that portion of side of intimacy. I mean, realistically, this person understanding you, feeling you, with
Hmm.
you. And basically, if you're around somebody long enough and you're vulnerable there, they can start to basically anticipate some things that you may start to feel
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
basically speak to you before those feelings even start to happen.
Yeah. And the thing is, what you were saying about it's not the physical intimacy, that when we do that, have that emotional nudity. And I would say first with ourselves, right? We have to know who we are, and how we function before we try to have that emotional nudity with someone else. But with that being said, the intimate part is exactly what you're saying. Is it really shows up before the physical? It's what we would call foreplay. It's the conversation, it's the sharing, it's the going into allowing yourself to open up and fully, without pretending, and feeling okay with people seeing the real you. That in relationships, like you said, builds that foundation, that once you have, because all relationships do as well, once you have conflict and things of that nature, you feel secure with this person because you've been vulnerable, you've been naked and unashamed, and you feel better going into or having conflict because you've already built the premise and foundation of knowing that this person knows who you are without judgment.
Judgment is key there. It really is. That word is key. But think about this for a second.
Hmm.
Realistically, have you ever really been in a relationship or marriage for that point, and you felt like no matter what was said, no matter what was done, I can basically count this person being there for
Mm. Mark, you're going to make me ponder that. Let me think. You know what? If I had to, I can't put it in a high level, but I can say that yes, I was in a relationship that person, I knew that I can count on them. But the funny thing about that though, Mark, is I wasn't yet at a place of emotional transparency or vulnerability. So even though his behaviors showed me that he would show up, I still blocked it and hindered it in my own thought process because I still was healing and not realizing, I didn't see it, that he would show up. I mean, I experienced it, but in my mind, I still wasn't accepting it.
Okay.
But to answer your question, yes.
Okay. Let's take a word. Let's take away the word healing for a second.
Okay.
Let's push that to the side,
Okay.
and let's focus on. He made you feel comfortable and content that he was going to be there for you regardless. So why would, and this is just a general question, but since you said I'm pointing to you,
hmm
why couldn't you just meet that immediately?
And again, because I wasn't being emotionally nude with myself, right? That was a time of not having emotional transparency. I would hide my emotions, check this out, from myself.
Okay, but hang on now. Hang on a
hmm
second.
hmm
And I get that. I get that. But you're finally at a place where you can be remarkable, Renee.
Oh yeah, there now.
No. Let's go back to that moment
Hmm
because I think this is for me. I think this is key. Sometimes you only get those moments a few times in life,
Yeah.
but you're at a place where you can just basically drop everything and be remarkable, Renee. This person is giving this opportunity, but for some reason, even what you're saying, you didn't push through to meet that.
hmm
And sometimes in life, even though we're not healed, we're not this, we're not that, you must meet what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And I know that's easier said than done, but if it's presented to you, it's given to you, and it's what's there, damn it, nothing else to me is important.
Oh
What you
my
have,
goodness.
what if you've been through before, whatever, you got to meet that because that's what that calls for. And a
hmm
lot of times we get hung up, well, I'm not sure, this and that, and I've been through this. Those things should have been dealt with prior to you stepping into that space in the first place.
Absolutely. No,
So,
that's yeah.
so now that you're here, you are here and it's available to you, you must meet it. Because
Yeah.
in reality, life or no one has time for you to catch up and get in your 10-speed bike and grab it and start pedaling fast. You must do whatever you got to do to break through at that moment. And I know this may sound crazy to some folks, but that's the reality because we desire certain things. We desire to be with someone that's going to be emotional nudity. So whatever you got to do, you got to rip your shirt off. Whatever you got to do, you got to get there. You got to get there now. You don't have time to grow into it because as an adult, that's what it's called for.
Well, I like what you said. You have, like you said, before you get there. So that means these are things that you are dealing with prior to that, which makes you, which would go here. You have to be you have to be aware and mindful of whether you should be in a relationship or not. Um,
Who does
go,
that though?
yeah,
Who does
yeah.
that? I mean, realistic. At the end of the day, we just show up in a relationship. We ain't mindful. We ain't ready. We just, I mean, we just show up. I mean, reality. That is the truth. We just show up because if we were, our relationship would be more beneficial and be better. But we don't. We don't. We don't. We just kind of basically show up. So my point in saying that, and I get that. And again, this may sound, out different because we're not used to looking at it that way. So my
hmm
point is, if you're walking into it, you chose to be there, and you didn't handle your business prior, who cares at this point? You
Yeah,
chose to walk in, show up, and I'm not saying emotional nudity is easy, but it should be what we strive for.
yeah.
And if one party is doing it, I don't want to hear, well, based on whatever. I don't. I'm talking about today.
hmm
I
hmm
don't want based on what happened yesterday. I don't want to hear all that. What can you give me right now when it comes to emotional nudity?
And I want to
So
say that emotional nudity is not something that you do and it's a one and done. This is something that is a continual practice. This is a continual process. And I mean, there are, I want to say levels, but not, but you don't just go in, oh, I'm emotionally healed. No, they're going to be, I'm not emotionally healed. I'm sorry. I'm emotionally nude. No, they're in good relationships. And I say this all the time. A good relationship will show you you. A
Hello.
better relationship will show you you and then help you become a better you.
I think a lot of times too, we get in our own way
Mm-hmm.
and we prevent ourselves from basically being emotionally nude because we're not comfortable. We haven't done it before.
Yeah.
So we use those as excuses to basically say, no, I can't do that. No, you don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is our ego. And to
Mm.
me, if you're going to be emotionally nude, your ego has to go. That has to go. Basically, if you desire to be with this person, and this person is of stature, of character, of morals that you know fits what you desire to be with and you deserve to have, there is no excuses, sweetie. There is none. What happened yesterday doesn't matter. What's
Yeah.
going on today and tomorrow should be what's really present and what's really important. And that's why I say you don't have time to kind of wait
Yeah.
because everything that you haven't done to that point, that's your fault. It is your
Yeah.
fault. It should have been taken care of. So don't be trying to basically gain something that you're not ready for.
Well, that's true. And I think a part of that being emotional nudity, I mean nude is actually tied into your self-worth. What do you think and feel about yourself? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I get that. But
Mhm.
here again, if you're walking around with low self worth, that person's supposed to what, give you a shot of self worth?
Absolutely not. Like you said, you should show up with this because these are things, and it's funny that you said that. These are owning our own emotions. People can't get, somebody else can't give you emotional nudity. They can present a mirror in front of you so that you can see where you still are hiding, but it's not somebody else's responsibility to be nude for you. It's yours. It's how you show up.
Yeah. A lot of times we spend time hiding flaws. We're afraid of judgment.
Yeah.
Now, we are. We're afraid of judgment. And you hear that phrase all the time. Nobody could judge me but God. Shut up with all that.
Mm-mm.
Just shut up. I'm sorry. Because to me, when I hear that, it's like, your stuff ain't right.
Right.
And you ain't doing nothing about it. So you want to lean into God. Basically, if I could say this and God could only judge me, in your mind, it gives you an excuse. It gives you a crutch not to do anything better. And
I think I'm
that's why I
sorry.
say shut that. That's why I say shut that up. But I'm sorry. Please
No,
continue.
that's okay. No, I was just was saying we have to be willing to take the mask off, right? Um, because it's so funny when we show up with mask that we think is hiding. We don't we really don't know sometimes that people have already discerned and already experienced who you are even with your mask on. I think I shared this with you before when I was like 18 and I was with my first child's dad. And he told me, he was like, you have a low self-esteem. And I'm looking at him like, what? What are you talking about? I got lip dips and hips. Everybody want me. What you mean? I've got a low self-esteem. But Marquia hit it right on the nose. I was wearing a mask. I was operating in what I was trying to be or projecting or giving the perception, but I knew within myself that I wasn't being true to my own feelings. So it took someone, and he didn't say it, out of negativity or anything like that. I would say he said it out of pure concern because that was somebody who wanted me to be better. And so sometimes somebody has to kind of like, again, put that mirror in front of you and go, hey, you don't see what I see. And not that you've gotta be something for somebody else, but you've got to first be that person for yourself. So like you said, when you show up, that work is already done. We're not going to start from ground zero with this. We're going to start from where you are, but we're not starting from ground zero.
Yeah. going back to the example you just gave, and I think
Uh-huh.
this is really interesting because that happens a lot. Now, you were 18,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that doesn't happen to people that are older. I experience this from time to time.
Hmm.
You can say something to someone, just like he said to you, and in your heart of hearts, you know what that man is saying is correct.
Yeah.
But you could not bow down and basically be honest and respond back. And that is the kicker. It's like it's almost like you were afraid he saw you.
Ooh.
He saw through you. And what happens is they'll spend more time denying what was said, just like you did with him. Now you're going to go on a path to try to prove, and you're going to work even harder now so he can't see you. And
Hmm.
if that's going on, there is no emotional nudity. There is
Hmm.
none. There will never be none. And realistically, even though it hurts to have someone say that to you, but to be honest and to be nude, it would have been the thing to say, yes, this is what I feel. This is what I've been feeling for a while.
Yeah,
There goes a level of intimacy.
it
But
does.
we spend more time trying to roll around and I think, no, you don't got, and all that. You're defeating the emotional nudity. You're working opposite. And like I said, now you're going to try to fight. I don't want him thinking, I don't want her to be able to see me.
Right.
No, they see you because they're in tune with you. They care
Absolutely.
about you. They're that's something to say when someone basically can say, I see this about you.
Hmm.
Realistically, out of the kindness of their heart, not trying to be harsh to you, not
Hmm.
trying to do damage. To me, that's beautiful.
Oh, it's so funny that you said that because I was getting ready to go here. When we're vulnerable, when we're nude, it shows our scars. And sometimes when it shows our scars, it reminds us of the experiences that caused those wounds. And we don't trust our scars or our wounds with other people. But ultimately, if again, changing the mindset or looking at it different, those scars say, I'm still here. I survived whatever experience caused this scar. And so I feel like our nudity should be worn as a badge. And I mean, honestly, Mark, that's why I'm so transparent. It's my badge. It's my badge to say that all the things that whatever I, went through or whatever the challenge was, it didn't take me out. So I'm okay with sharing that because I can be transparent, I can be, vulnerable, which are two different things. And it's like, because why? Because I've come to the realization within myself that whatever that thing was that left a scar or whatever that trauma was, it did not overtake me. And I still have the ability to positively and effectively function. So I'm okay with sharing it. I'm
Okay.
okay with opening up.
Hmm. Let me give you a four-letter word.
Hmm.
And let's dissect this a little bit.
Okay.
And that word it's not a big word, but it carries a lot of weight.
Hmm.
And that word is past.
Ooh, ooh, say that, Mark.
Because when you're speaking of scars,
Hmm.
they're in the past.
Yep.
So we're carrying scars, we're carrying bruises, they're in the past. Now, if you look at a scar on your body, you look at it could be a scar on your leg. If you tend not to look at that scar as a reminder, you'll forget it's there.
Hmm.
You'll forget it exists. It happened years ago. It serves me no purpose for me to basically focus and evaluate and basically wake up and think about that scar every single day.
Because you
Think
can't
up
go back and change it.
absolutely. To think about that scar in a current day time, in a current day relate. What is the benefit?
Hmm.
There is
Yeah.
none. It's only a detraction. So we spend a lot of times living the past in the current day.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is it kind of that I don't know, I'm probably going to batch it up, but it's pretty much, if you can't live in the past because it's gone, you can't live in the future because it's not here yet. So you have to live in the gift that we've been given, and that's the present.
Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
When, when I think of relationships, I think of work, I think of expression, I think of bearing one's soul, Renee. I
Yeah.
really do. And sometimes, let me just go with those three: work, expression, and bearing one's soul. I think we do a hell of a job with expression. I do. I think we do.
Ooh.
We're good on expression. We knock that out the park. Bang, 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 1,000% when
Mm-hmm.
it comes down to that. But basically, the work, yeah, that's a little tough sometimes. We ain't always up for the work.
Let
We
me
just
share
kind of.
where I think why. I think
Hmm.
because we express, but we don't comprehend.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give me a little more than that. Why don't we?
Okay.
When you say we express what we don't comprehend,
Right.
clear that for me, please.
Right. So a lot of times, and I'm gonna go here, a lot of times when someone says, "Oh, I know how to communicate. I know how to communicate." And then you look at this person's communication and what they're doing is they're talking, right? They're not because communication is really not for the person who's talking, it's for the person who's receiving if it's effective, right? So a lot of times, like what I was saying, how we are expressing, we're saying a whole lot of things, but we're not sitting with those things that we're saying to comprehend fully what those sayings are.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like we're saying a lot of things, but then it's like, are we sitting with the things that we're saying to really understand the meaning of that thing and then apply it? I know I just said this the other day, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who says it. Knowledge is potential. It's wisdom that's the power. So a lot of times if we're just saying things and we're putting out there, do we understand what what is being said? Who was that? Chris Tucker. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
There it is. No topic left behind. Remarkable Renee Ambush and Mark Elliott. Appreciate you giving us an ear. Now, let me ask this, Renee, because um, communication, as you just
Mhm,
stated, evolves, really requires and listening. It
mhm,
does. Now,
mhm,
sometimes this is the part about communication that to me I think quietly happens and it gets
mhm.
not verbally dealt with, but more so in a way of anger, resentment,
Oof.
and a little bitterness. When you choose not to listen, and listening is a huge part
Mhm,
of communication. When a person basically chooses not to listen, a lot of times the other party feels you don't care.
mhm,
You don't value, you don't care, because if you did, you would take the time out to listen.
mm. Or sometimes, Mark, we should be listen. I mean, when someone's talking, listening, not to respond. And that's where I kind of was talking about that whole thing of we hear stuff, but we're not comprehending.
Yeah, I mean, it all falls under the same umbrella because if you're listening to respond, you're basically not listening to care.
Right.
You're
Right.
listening to basically drive your point home. And
Hmm.
so, and again, that's part of the work. That's why I say when it really comes down to the work, we're kind of, we're lackadaisical when it comes down to work. And
Right.
relationships requires a lot of work. And
And and and
it's not like it's hard labor work that you got to, put on your overalls, but this work that's required to make sure things work out.
Right. And it's like to what you were saying about the communication with this nudity, right? We have to be in a position that we're able to speak our truth in the moment, and and no matter how hard that truth may be, we have to learn how to communicate it. So like we were talking about earlier when you say how you doing and it's just okay, right? Sometimes if you ask somebody, when you know that they're experiencing something and you see that they're emotionally in a place or whatever and you're like, how you feeling? Like what's going on? Where you at with that? And they're like, oh, I'm cool, I'm fine, right? Because they're being guarded, right? Let me just say how to be able to when you're emotionally nude, how to maybe be able to rephrase that instead of I'm cool, I'm fine. When you sit with that emotion, when you deal with it, you get a chance to say things like maybe I'm hurt. Um, I'm hurt more than I expected, or maybe I feel left out, or you cannot pretend is kind of where I'm going. When you speaking your truth in the moment and being emotionally nude and identifying those emotions, you're communicating right in that moment what that feeling or emotion is.
That's bearing one's soul, Renee.
Yeah,
That's what that is. In reality, you think about that's bearing one's soul, and we spend more time again trying not to do such.
yeah.
And my thing is, if you can't bear your soul to the person that you're with, who the hell are you going to bear it to?
That part. You have to find yourself in places and spaces with people who they earn your trust. And so that they won't weaponize your truth.
Yeah. But again, if I choose someone to be my partner and they're with me, either they're my ride or die, and I can't bear my soul to you, who am I bearing my soul to?
Well, Mark, sometimes we choose our partners where we are. And I say this about relationships all the time. We have got to get to a space where we're choosing partners where we can see, right? We've experienced they can take us, we can go another level with this person and not where we are. We can't have trauma bonds. We can't have character roles. Trauma roles connecting. Like we choose those people. So if I am not emotionally nude, it's a very high statistical likelihood that I'm going to choose somebody else who's the same way. And then we're going to navigate this to somebody starts growing and then no longer feels like this is the relationship for them because now I'm ready to grow and share and be nude and you're still guarded.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can see happening quite a bit. Yeah. Now, here's another thing about communication, though.
Hmm.
Realistically, can we handle honest communication?
How about that?
Because there's a
Yes.
level to that. There's a level to handling honest communication, and we could
Right.
speak communication all day. Y'all want to get all communication is great for relationship, but when you can't handle the communication, how does it stay honest?
Ooh, that's when we start putting those masks back on. That's when we become indirect with our communication. That's when we become sarcastic. That's when we become passive aggressive because we're not really receiving what's being said. And I think I told you, Mark, the many stories of Renee in the relationship that I was in. Remember, I chose to tell this person I love them. And that's where I chose. That was my emotion. That was my nudity. That was me feeling comfortable to express my feeling. That person didn't say it back at that moment, right? And this is exactly what we're talking about, being afraid of communicating, verbalizing where you are because you're scared or, fearful, afraid, or whatever from what you may receive. This person didn't say it back at that moment. And in
Okay,
that truth, it was, do you want me to say it because that's what you want? Or is it because I say it because that's where I'm actually at, where I'm feeling? So I would say two things. That person was operating in his emotional intelligence because if he didn't feel it, he wasn't going to wear a mask and then, cover up just to make me feel good. That was his nudity. And in
okay,
him giving me that truth, I had to receive his truth. And I'm gonna tell you why or how I received it, because it was already my choice to do what I wanted to do or say what I wanted to say and be vulnerable. So it wasn't going to his response, if it which it wasn't the response I was looking for, but it was his truth. And because I did what I did, I had to accept his truth.
okay. Now, him not saying it at that moment, did you actually feel that he loved you?
And I like you said, feel. No, I didn't feel that he loved me, but he constantly showed me in his behaviors and patterns that he did. But I also recognized that he had a different level of what love looked like. His love was doing and giving. So though I didn't feel at his verbalization at that moment of him speaking that, I didn't feel love, but I knew in truth that that was his love. So in truth, there is love in truth.
Okay. So you basically knew he loved you
Hmm.
without him verbalizing it.
Yes.
You basically that he loved you for the most part.
Yep. To the level
Now,
of he could. Yes, he did.
To the level of you, no, okay, wait a minute now, wait a minute now, wait. We ain't gonna put no level on love. We're gonna either, love is almost like being pregnant. Either you are or you're not. So
You can't be almost pregnant, a little bit of pregnant.
no, you
No,
can't
but
be.
what I mean is his ability at his and this is funny because a discussion about relationships and showing up, like we were just saying, and I want you to go back to what you're saying. Sometimes somebody else's 20% to you may be their 100%. That really is their 100%. That's what they can get. That's where they are. But that's their 100%. But it only looks like 20% to you because you may be somewhere else. That doesn't mean that they're not bringing it. They're bringing it at their capacity. But I do understand what you said. Either you love or you don't. But when I say that, knowing and growing or processing and dealing, yep, and for me, it was like you loved at the level that you were able to, and that was your 100%.
Okay, I'm gonna circle with this a little bit because
Hmm.
I think this happens,
Hmm.
and you're saying to me you felt he loved you,
Hmm.
and it's based on say that to me again, based on what you felt like he loved you.
Based on what what the perception of how he could love was. So him not being a person who was really able to, he didn't have the emotional nudity that I had. His was in doing and being considerate and hearing and listening and showing up when you need it for those things, but he didn't verbalize it. So I
Okay,
couldn't take it that he didn't love me because he didn't say it back. He was operating and giving me what love looked like, which was something that I chose to receive at that time. I'd rather you be authentic in your truth and what your emotional capacity is in your nudity, and I either get to accept it or reject it. But that was how he knew to love, and so I was able to accept it as love, even though he didn't verbalize the words at that time. Not saying that he
okay.
didn't ever say it, but at that time he did not say it.
Now here's the thing
Hmm.
that I just want to kind of say for a second. Do we feel when someone does nice things for us and they consider it to us
Hmm.
that that's a sign that's a sign and an effect of love?
No, that's not a sign of effective love at all. I don't even want to put that out there for people to
Hmm.
think, "Oh, well, she was nice or he was nice." No, that was just nice. That
Yeah,
wasn't love.
and this is why I want to approach that because um, I think when someone loves you, you don't. And I'm not saying you did this, but when
Mm-mm.
someone loves you, you don't have to color it in and say this is
Ooh.
what they're capable of, what the case may be. Either they love you fully or they just don't. And a lot of
Ooh.
times we're looking for love to be a certain way, and we know when someone loves us.
Mhm.
And if they don't show us in that way or make us feel, because to me, it's not the things you do,
Mhm.
it's what I feel when I'm with you. It's just, I don't
Listen
know.
here, Mark.
I'm
You
just,
all would say, I know, no, because I love it, I love it, I love it. I just love the dynamics because what you just said is just so it's so simplistically complicated, but you just broke that thing down. And absolutely. And so many of us, especially women, needed to hear that, Mark.
yeah. We get lost. And realistically, love will make you feel a burning feeling. You just know it's there. And
Mm,
sometimes we are, I hate to use the word desperate, but sometimes we are. We're desperate to be loved. So we
mm,
take any glimpse of it and then we'll say, well, they just didn't have it. And that's not, to me, love is not about a capacity. It's not.
ooh,
If
mm.
I love you, you're gonna feel it.
Teach, Mark, teach.
You don't have to think about it. You don't
Ooh,
have to question. You ain't gotta ask. You ain't gotta expect me to say it back to you.
mm,
You will feel it, you know it. And if you don't feel it, you don't come across it that way, then chances are I just don't love you.
ooh,
So
ooh.
my point is we spend a lot of time coloring love in. We just do. We look for, but they take me to nice restaurants. That's not love.
Throw
They
away the
do X,
coloring
Y,
book
Z.
and crayons.
Yes. Love is not meant to be colored in. Your
Ooh,
heart should tell you. You should know. And if you have to do those outside little vibrations up in, it may not be love. It just
yeah.
may not be. And that's okay. That doesn't mean the person doesn't care about you a great deal. But to me, there's a difference, and there's two worlds of love and care. Now,
Wow.
I could care about you and don't want nothing bad to happen to you and care to make you good, but that doesn't mean I love you.
Ooh. And that right there, Mark, is like a big part of being able to make sure that you choose safe spaces to be vulnerable and transparent. That right there, like what you said, knowing that you're in an environment that you can trust your heart in, that you can trust your heart into that person in that environment, because once, we talked about this in the beginning, once that heart is violated, it starts opening itself up for all those things that begin to harden it, to begin to put, to have us to put on mask and then put up guards and no longer become nude, emotionally nude.
Yeah, it does. It basically put the blockers in front of it. And we should aspire really to be emotionally nude. We really should. I mean, for the most
Yeah.
part, that to me, again, is the foundation that will lead to great intimacy. And it's a vulnerability. And we're scared from time to time to be vulnerable. Men in general, men are scared to be vulnerable. Men, we get our heart broken early. And I think it's the best thing to happen to a young man is get your heart broken early in life. I
Wow.
really
Yeah.
do. Because you have a chance to really understand it, learn from it, see it for what it is. But a lot of us tend to basically, after that, get to the point we go into a shell and we
Mm,
think it should never happen again. And we do all to protect that feeling from happening because it hurt. Well, that's a part of life. It just is. How could you
mm,
really be connected with someone you spend more time trying to block them from hurting you? Now, I'm
mm,
not saying you walk around basically and rip your chest open and allow them to puncture your heart, but at the same time, you
mm,
have to open up and allow some things just to take place naturally, and understand if your heart is going to be broken, you can defend that. You're not
mm-hmm.
simple. You're not stupid. But a lot of us, as men, I'm speaking of really in general, we walk around with this big shell, and we're afraid to love. We're afraid to
Wow.
open up and love. We basically, we're kind of shy away from certain things, and we'll
Mm,
feel certain things, and we may not even want to express it. That's not being emotionally nude. That's being a coward when it comes to love, in my opinion. Being a
wow.
coward. As a man, you get your feelings
Woo.
hurt again. So what? Clean up, keep it moving, boss. It's a part of life. It's a
Wow.
part of life. And a lot of men love that way. They kind of keep some of their heart on reserve. Okay. Mm-mm. You know when to do that naturally. You know when to do it. But
Right.
if you're not opening up and really just sharing and exposing who you are, being vulnerable and putting yourself in that place, you're not truly loving.
Whoo, look, did you hear that? That was a lot, Mark. That was a lot.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just the way one Mark Elliott sees it. It's just it. Yeah. I
Mm,
mean, we have to basically, if we really want love, we got to be true to love.
absolutely.
We have
Yeah.
to. We got to be true to it. We can't sell love short and then expect to have this great love affair. We just can't. We got to be
And no,
true to it.
and though you said love, there again, therein lies my little scriptures and stuff that I've learned and lived by. The Bible says that you have to first show thyself friendly. So I love what you said. If you're looking to receive love, looking to receive love, you also have to know how to get it. Is that what you said?
Something similar to that, I guess. I said a little while ago. I have to go back and sometimes once it comes out, take a while to register because those are moments.
Right, right, right.
But
Oh
yeah,
God.
it's just interesting when we speak of emotional nudity. If you're not willing to be vulnerable, you're not really willing to open up. You're gonna feel some good things, but you probably, I think you said this earlier. At some point, it's gonna become stagnant. It's
Yeah.
not gonna grow. It's not gonna blossom. It's just gonna be, as some people would say, it's just gonna be okay. And if you
Mm.
just want an okay relationship, then that's cool. That's cool if you just want an okay, but to me, okay is going to get boring. It's going to get
Yeah,
tiresome. It's going to be like, why am I here? I would assume we want a vibrant, exciting,
absolutely. Not to
glowing,
exist, but
blossoming,
yeah.
yes, yeah, a radiant
Yeah.
relationship where we both work to keep it such.
So Mark, let's end with telling them maybe how to do that, because we've talked about this emotional nudity, but we want to share some things on, how you can make that happen, right? And right?
Yes, no, absolutely. Because realistically, again, when you come across someone that you feel is worthy of you, your time, your presence, your love, your feeling, there should not be nothing that stands in the way of that.
Yeah.
You should allow
Yeah.
yourself to open up and really experience it and go through it and work to basically preserve it, to have it grow,
Hmm.
solidify the foundation. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid
Absolutely.
to speak what you feel. Don't be afraid to speak your thoughts. Don't think about what's coming after. If I say this, this is going to
Hmm.
happen. No, open up and allow it to grow. And sometimes you're going to say something to somebody, they may not get it that particular day. They may
Hmm.
get it the next day, the following day. But at least they will know where you are. They
Yeah.
know where you are emotionally, what you feel. And if they choose not to validate it, guess what? Then they're just not the one. That doesn't
Absolutely.
mean life is over, love doesn't exist, you can't find love. No, don't go through all those dumb, generic memes of things of saying to yourself, that person just wasn't ready. They weren't the one for you. And
Absolutely. But you also have to be in a space where you let someone comfort you without saying, "Oh, I'm okay." Like, allow somebody to, actually do that, and be able to, like, accept compliments without deflecting them. A lot of people do that, Mark.
ooh, yeah, I do know. That I do know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like,
yeah.
oh, you did an amazing job. I mean, it just, it's like, just say I receive. It's okay,
There you
because
go.
it helps you
Yeah.
to believe that you're worthy of love, and that, that you're not there to be a performance. You're not about performing to receive love, right? Because then you feel like you got to do a thing. And then that makes you not want to be vulnerable or nude, because you feel like you've got to always do something. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. No, it's not a performance. It really isn't. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's a daily way of living with the person that you love and care about.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. And I would say to the closing as well, just a bit that, accept that everybody is not going to handle you well, or what you bring well. And, like, just one of the things that really hit me when we think about this emotional nudity, it's like, I would say emotional nudity it's about freedom and not approval.
I like that. It really is. You think about if you're seeking approval, you're going about the wrong way.
Mhm.
Validation is
Mhm.
not necessary here. It really isn't. You're going about the wrong way.
Yeah. And I just
Yeah.
remember that old saying, you got to be, if you want that freedom, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Well, okay. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. There ain't no medication for being sick and tired, right? Not
Mm-mm.
to my knowledge.
None.
It's no topic left behind with amazing Renee Ambush, Mark Elliott. Yeah, we'll get together and do another one. Thank you for checking this one out. Take care of yourself. God will continue to bless you.
God bless.